Welcome to a story that touches the heart. Today we share a tale about love, jealousy, forgiveness, and how family can heal even the deepest pain. Stay close, listen carefully, and feel every moment of this journey. Now, let the story begin. The sun rose over Umuofia, painting the village in gold. Everyone was awake, children laughing, traders shouting, and smoke rising from cooking fires. But all eyes turned to Obinna, the most handsome young man in the whole village. Tall and strong, with smooth dark skin and shining black hair, Obinna had a smile that made everyone stop and stare. His deep, kind eyes made people trust him, and the way he walked made him look brave. Girls whispered his name when he passed, giggling behind their hands. Even the animals liked to follow him around. People loved Obinna not just because he was handsome but because he was good. He helped the old people carry heavy loads. He played with children and protected them when bigger boys tried to disturb them. He helped farmers in the fields even when he was tired. Obinna's parents were proud of him. His father said, "My son, one day you will be great." But Obinna did not think about greatness. He only wanted a good and simple life. Obinna worked as a blacksmith with his father. The fire from the forge made sparks dance in the air like tiny stars. He loved shaping metal into things people needed. One day as he was working, a guard from the palace arrived. He rode on a big brown horse and stopped right in front of the blacksmith's house. "Obinna," the guard called. "The king wants to see you." Obinna's father and mother looked at each other in surprise. Why would the king want Obinna? Obinna wiped sweat from his face and quickly changed into clean clothes. His heart beat fast. He had never been inside the palace before. The palace was very big. Its walls were high and painted in bright colors. Guards stood everywhere with spears in their hands. When Obinna walked in, he saw beautiful carvings on the walls and bright fabrics hanging from the ceiling. His eyes grew wide in amazement. The guard led him into a large hall where the king sat on his throne, wearing a crown that shined like the morning sun. The queen sat beside him with a calm smile. Two princesses stood next to their parents. The first one was Princess Amara. She was tall and very beautiful, with skin smooth like polished stone and hair that was long and dark. But what made her even more beautiful was her gentle smile. Her eyes were kind, like a warm fire that made you feel safe. She looked at Obinna with curiosity and a little bit of shyness. The second princess was Adiz. She was also beautiful but in a different way. She always stood tall with her head up, and her eyes were sharp like a hawk. Her beauty was strong and bold, and she always liked to get what she wanted. When Adiz saw Obinna, her heart almost jumped out of her chest. She stared at him and a bright smile filled her face. The king spoke in a loud but friendly voice. "Obinna, we have heard about you. You are strong, kind, and loved by everyone. Our guards say you are brave and clever. We need a strong young man like you to train with the palace guards." Obinna bowed. "Thank you, my king. I will do my best." As Obinna was leaving, Princess Amara whispered something to her mother while still looking at him. Adiz quickly stepped forward and said boldly, "Father, I want Obinna to show me around the village one day." The king and queen laughed softly. "Maybe one day," the queen said. From that moment, both princesses thought of Obinna every day. Adiz would watch him whenever he trained at the palace. She loved how strong he looked when he held a spear. She dreamed of Obinna becoming her husband. Amara also admired Obinna. She liked how he always greeted the palace servants with respect. When no one was watching, she smiled at him from afar. She did not want to disturb her sister, because Adiz had made her feelings clear. Amara told herself that she should not love him. She did not want to hurt her sister. She tried to hide her growing feelings like a secret locked deep inside her heart. As weeks passed, Obinna and the princesses began to know each other more. Obinna would help Amara carry books from the palace library. They would walk together in the garden talking about life outside the palace. They laughed together, and sometimes Amara's heart beat too fast, so she would quickly look away. Adiz also tried to spend time with him. She asked him to teach her how to use a spear. Obinna agreed, and Adiz smiled proudly when she was able to hit a target. She would talk for long hours, telling Obinna what she wanted in life, things like being powerful and having everything she desired. Obinna noticed the difference between the sisters. Adiz was bold and loud. Amara was kind and gentle. But he did not show his feelings to either of them. He was careful. He respected the king and did not want to cause trouble in the royal family. But hearts are hard to control. The more Obinna and Amara talked, the more they both fell in love. Yet each one tried to hide it. Amara would go to bed thinking of him. Obinna would wake up thinking of her. Love was growing silently like a seed in the ground. One evening the king called Obinna again. The king smiled and said, "Obinna, you have grown strong and brave. You will soon be a leader in this kingdom. It is time for you to think about marriage." Obinna froze. Marriage? He felt his heart shake. The king continued, "I want you to marry one of my daughters. This will keep you close to the throne and to the future of Umuofia." Obinna tried to speak, but his voice would not come out. The king smiled again and said, "We have chosen Princess Adiz for you. She has always admired you." Obinna's heart dropped. He knew Adiz liked him. But his heart belonged to Amara. He bowed, trying to keep his voice strong. "My king." But he could not finish. The king raised his hand. "Obinna, you are a good man. I trust you will make Adiz happy. The people will celebrate your marriage soon." Obinna felt lost. He walked back home with heavy feet. How could he marry someone he did not love? What about Amara? What about the feelings he tried so hard to hide? That night he could not sleep. He looked up at the stars and whispered, "Why is love so painful?" The next morning whispers spread through the palace. Adiz was full of joy, walking around with a bright smile because she believed Obinna would soon be hers. But Amara, her heart broke. She cried quietly in her room, not wanting anyone to see her. She tried to be happy for her sister, but the pain in her chest was too strong. Still, Amara told herself to be strong. She said in a soft voice, "If Obinna can make Adiz happy, then I must be happy too." But Obinna could not pretend. His heart refused to lie. He knew he needed to speak to Amara. He found her sitting alone in the garden, wiping tears from her eyes. When she saw him, she quickly looked away. "Congratulations," she whispered. "I know you will take good care of my sister." Obinna sat beside her. "Princess Amara," he said softly. My heart." Amara shook her head and stood up. "Please," she said. "Do not say anything more. It will only make everything harder." She hurried away, leaving Obinna sitting there with his heart breaking into pieces. Every day became painful. Adiz would come near him, smiling and laughing, planning their future, while Obinna's eyes always searched for Amara. Amara tried to avoid him, but sometimes she would look from a distance, wishing things were different. Soon the people of the village started preparing for the wedding. Drums were played every evening. Women sang and danced. Adiz was the happiest she had ever been. But the more she smiled, the more Amara cried in silence. And the more Obinna felt his heart tearing apart. Love was becoming a storm that no one could escape. Days passed and the wedding drew closer. The palace buzzed with excitement, but Obinna felt like he was walking with a heavy stone in his chest. His mind was full of Amara. Every time he saw her trying to smile through her sadness, his heart twisted in pain. He knew he could not stay silent anymore. One quiet afternoon he found Amara again in the garden. This time he did not let her walk away. "Amara," he said gently, "please listen." She stopped but did not turn around. Tears were already filling her eyes. Obinna stepped closer and whispered, "My heart loves you. Not Adiz. Only you." Amara closed her eyes tightly as tears rolled down her cheeks. "Obinna, you should not say this. Father chose Adiz. She loves you so much." "But I do not love her," he said. "If I marry her, I will live with a broken heart, and she will feel the pain too." Amara slowly turned to him, her lips shaking. "What do we do?" she whispered. Obinna took her hands gently. "We must tell the king the truth. I will not let fear destroy our happiness." Even though fear shook her bones, Amara nodded. "I will stand with you." Just as Obinna leaned closer, hoping to wipe her tears, they both heard footsteps. Adiz stood there, her face turning dark like a storm. "What is this?" Adiz asked. Her voice trembled with anger. "So all this time you have been hiding your feelings? Behind my back." Obinna stepped forward. "Adiz, I respect you, but—" "Respect?" she snapped. "You respect me, yet you hold hands with my sister? You plan to shame me before the whole kingdom?" Amara tried to speak. "Adiz, I—" But Adiz held up her hand. "No. I will not listen. I saw him first. I loved him first. Why must you always take everything from me?" Amara looked confused. "Everything? Sister, I never—" "You always pretend to be perfect," Adiz cried. "Everyone loves you because you are gentle and kind. But now I see your true face." She turned and ran inside, tears falling behind her like rain. That night, Adiz stayed alone in her room, crying hard. Jealousy burned in her heart like fire. She thought of Obinna laughing with Amara. She thought of their hands touching. Her anger twisted into something dangerous. "No," she whispered. "Amara cannot have him. If I cannot have Obinna, then no one will." The next morning the king called Obinna again. His face was serious. "My daughter Adis tells me that you have feelings for Amara," he said. "Is this true?" Obinna took a deep breath. His heart beat like a drum. "Yes, my king." The king sighed deeply and closed his eyes. "Obinna, I chose you for Adis because I believed you would help guide her. She can be strong and proud, but she needs someone to soften her heart." "Amara is the one I love," Obinna said softly. The queen looked sad. "If you marry someone you do not love, there will be no peace in this family." The king rubbed his forehead. "This is not easy. Adis already told the villagers about the wedding. If we cancel it, everyone will talk." He paused. "But I cannot force love." Obinna fell to his knees. "Thank you, my king." "But listen well," the king warned. "Adis has a quick temper. We must help her understand. If your love will cause hate between my daughters, then this marriage cannot happen either." Obinna lowered his head in respect. When the king and queen told Amara the news, she cried with joy and thanked them. But Adis, she refused to come out of her room. She locked the door and shouted, "Leave me alone." She did not eat. She did not speak. She only cried and cried. Her heart felt like it had been cut open. One evening she slipped into the palace healer's room. She found a small clay cup filled with dark liquid. The healer used it on sick animals who were in great pain so they would sleep forever. Adis stared at the cup while her hands shook. "It will be quick," she whispered. "Amara will drink it, and she will sleep forever. And then Obinna will be mine." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she walked away with the deadly cup hidden inside her dress. The palace did not know that jealousy had grown into poison. The king decided to host a special dinner to show the kingdom that peace still lived in the royal family. He hoped Adis would smile again. The palace was decorated with glowing lanterns. Drums played soft music. But tension filled the air like a shadow. Obinna and Amara sat together for the first time, but their hands were cold with fear. They did not want to hurt Adis. Then Adis entered. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but she forced a smile. Everyone thought she was finally healing. Only the cup in her hand told the truth. She walked to Obinna and Amara and placed 2 cups of palm wine before them. "Please," she said sweetly, "drink." Amara looked up at her sister with hope. Maybe Adis was ready to forgive. Obinna lifted his cup. Amara lifted hers. Adis waited, her breaths fast, her heart racing. But just before they could drink, Amara looked into Adis' eyes and smiled, "Sister, after the dinner, can we talk? I miss you." Those words stabbed Adis deeper than any knife. Her fingers trembled. Her anger cracked. Her heart screamed. And suddenly, Adis slapped both cups off the table. They shattered on the floor, wine spilling everywhere, like dark blood across the tiles. Gasps filled the hall. Amara jumped back shocked. Obinna stood up, ready to protect her. Guards stepped forward with spears raised. Adis fell to her knees, crying loudly. "I wanted to hurt you," she screamed. "I wanted you gone. I thought you took everything from me." Amara ran to her and hugged her tightly. "Adis," she said through her own tears, "you have never lost me. You are my sister forever." Adis sobbed into her arms. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just felt so alone." Obinna bowed his head, tears filling his eyes too. Love, which had become poison, began to heal. The king stood and spoke with a voice full of wisdom. "Jealousy can destroy even the strongest hearts, but forgiveness can save kings and queens." Adis nodded slowly, wiping her tears. She looked at Obinna and said in a small voice, "I understand now. Your heart belongs to Amara, and I must let go." She held both their hands and whispered, "I want you two to be happy." Amara hugged her sister again, tighter this time. Obinna placed his hand on his chest and bowed to Adis. "I will always respect and protect you." Outside, the moon broke through the clouds. The storm was ending. And love, true love, had won. After the dramatic night in the palace, peace slowly returned. Adis stayed in her room for a few days, thinking about everything that had happened. She realized how jealousy and anger had almost ruined her family and everyone she cared about. She cried quietly but also felt relief. One morning, Amara knocked softly on her sister's door. Adiz, she whispered, I want to walk in the garden with you. Can you come? Adiz hesitated, then nodded. She put on a simple dress and followed Amara outside. The sun was warm, birds chirped, and flowers swayed gently in the breeze. Amara smiled softly. I know your heart was hurt. I never wanted to make you feel that way. Adiz looked down at the soft grass. I was angry. I thought I would lose everything. I wanted Obinna, and I wanted you to go away. Amara gently touched her shoulder. Adiz, no one can take me away from you. You're my sister, and I will always care for you. Binna, well, love cannot be forced. He cannot choose you if his heart belongs to me. But that doesn't mean he doesn't respect and care for you. Adiz slowly nodded. I understand now. I was blinded by my feelings. I let jealousy rule me. Amara hugged her tightly and Adiz returned the hug. For the first time in many days, both sisters felt the warmth of forgiveness. Obinna watched from the garden gate. He smiled softly. He felt grateful for the lesson they had all learned. Love could be complicated, but honesty and respect were stronger than jealousy. Soon, the palace held the wedding celebration for Obinna and Amara. But this time it was filled with joy and laughter, not tension. Adiz stood by her sister's side, smiling warmly. She wore a bright dress and even danced with Obinna during the celebration, but purely as a friend, with no longing in her heart. She was happy to see Amara smiling, truly happy, and she had begun to heal herself. During the feast, Obinna held Amara's hand. Their eyes met, and there was no doubt in either of their hearts. Love was real, honest, and shared between them freely. Adiz clapped from the side, her heart lighter than it had been in weeks. She looked at Obinna and Amara and whispered to herself, love is not something to take by force. It must come freely or it will never be real. The king and queen watched their daughters and Obinna. They smiled proudly, seeing the family together at last. This is how it should be, the king said softly. Even in times of trouble, love and forgiveness bring peace. The village celebrated for days. Drums and songs filled the air. Children ran in the streets laughing. People cheered for Obinna, Amara, and Adiz. As the moon rose over the palace, Adiz walked with her sister and Obinna through the gardens. She felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted from her heart. I am sorry for what I almost did, Adiz said softly. I was wrong to let jealousy rule me. Amara smiled and squeezed her hand. We all make mistakes, sister. What matters is that we forgive and learn. Obinna added, and I promise to always respect both of you. You are both very important to me. But Amara, my heart belongs to you. Amara blushed, hiding a smile. And mine to you, Obinna, she whispered. The stars sparkled above them as if the heavens themselves were blessing their hearts. Adiz looked up too and smiled. She had learned a very important lesson. Jealousy is like poison that can destroy everything. Forgiveness, honesty, and love, however, heal hearts and make families stronger. From that day on, the sisters were closer than ever. Adiz no longer wanted to control anyone's heart. She found her own joy in helping others, learning new skills, and caring for her people. Amara and Obinna worked together to protect the kingdom, and their love grew stronger every day. The villagers often spoke of Obinna, the brave and handsome man who won the heart of a kind princess, and of the two sisters whose love for each other overcame jealousy. The story of their family was told for generations, teaching everyone that love cannot be forced, and that forgiveness can turn even the darkest moments into light. And so, the kingdom of Umuofia flourished, not only because of strong leaders, but because the hearts of its people learned the most important lesson of all. Jealousy hurts everyone, but love and forgiveness make hearts grow stronger. True love is never selfish, it is kind, patient, and free. The moon shone brightly over the palace that night, and for the first time in many days, all hearts were at peace. Obinna and Amara held each other's hands, Adiz walked beside them smiling, and the kingdom celebrated love, family, and the beauty of forgiveness. Thank you for staying with us till the very end. We hope this story warmed your heart and reminded you of the power of love. If this story touched you, please like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us continue sharing meaningful stories with you. Until the next story, stay kind, love deeply, and let forgiveness guide your heart.